very important element in any marital relationship. And I want to add here that love without finance is likely to lead to a lot of frustration. Now, there are bills to be paid, and for you to show love to each other, buy a gift, take someone on a holiday, you need finance, isn't it? Right? Financial issue could lead to conflict in marriage if not properly handled. So couples would need to think about ways in order to increase their capacity to be financially independent. Hello everybody, and welcome to our YouTube channel, Relationship Builders Forum. And if you are new on our channel, please kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you know when we put content out. And to all our returning subscribers, it's always a joy to have you. Myself and my husband co-host on this channel, and my name is Amara.
And my name is Gospel. So today we'll be looking at how to increase your family income. You know, we can't overstate the importance of money in any love relationship, especially in marriage. And we are looking at different ways you can increase your capacity to earn income as a family. Number one thing we want to talk about is that you need to develop the right mindset about money. Sometimes people think money is the end in itself. They all want to make all the money they can and focus their attention on raising money, neglecting other important things in life. You need to understand that money is a means to an end. It's not an end in itself.
Following up from what you said, I want to add here that your relationship is more important than your finances. Like you said, money is a means to an end, and money should enhance your relationship. Money is a tool that should bind so many aspects of your relationship. It's not the focus in itself, but it's something that could help you have an amazing relationship. It's something that can also help you achieve your goals as a couple, as a family. And I think it's really important that we have that mentality about money. Money should not be something that controls us. It should be the other way around. So we should actually see this as a means, as a tool. And that is what it is.
Definitely.
Not get into a point where we are obsessed with the fact that it has to be money. We have more of it. We need more of it and all of that. It's important to have a lot of money. But I think the right mentality is what is key. It is a tool. It is not something that should control you. It's not something that should set the tone in your relationship. It should be the other way around. So you actually need to wield money in a way that it's useful to you and not money controlling you. I don't know if that makes sense. I think there was a lot of tongue twisting there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Money should not control us. We shouldn't be overly obsessed with money or making money to the point that some people neglect their relationship. They are all in the pursuit of wealth, leaving the primary focus of some people are so much into the pursuit of wealth, neglecting the key things they need to do to build their relationship. Money is important, but people are more important than money. Your wife, your spouse, your husband is more important than money. So we are putting this out so you know that we are not really seeing money as the primary goal of your relationship. It's actually an enhancer, it's a servant to your relationship. Another thing we want to talk about in terms of mindset about money is that you need to understand that you don't wish finance, you don't wish increase in finance. It is something you have to be deliberate about, you have to be intentional about it. You need to have good knowledge about money. In fact, you have to go through a process of we call financial intelligence to know how money works. Okay, we've gone to school to acquire knowledge about our careers and all of those, but if you don't know how money works, it's not going to work for you.
That's true.
Sometimes people think you can pray your way into financial wealth. It doesn't necessarily happen that way. So you need to understand the principles for accumulating wealth, and once you understand those principles and you apply them, you will be able to become financially independent. And that's what this conversation is about.
It's about, yes. So I would want to state another point because I think right mindset. So check right mindset. Let's look at another point, and that is brainstorming on ways to make money. Now, like you said, we have to be deliberate about what we do to make money. Now, the second question you would ask yourself is how? What are the ways that I can make money? And I think this is a conversation that couples will need to sit down.
Yes.
And critically, evaluate, do a health check of your finances and what are your incomings and what are your outgoings. So first of all, what are the incomings? So as a couple, and I'll use myself as an example, we have our income from our job, right? So we work and we are paid a salary. And the question is,
how much do we
how
earn?
much are we earning? Or as some people are like waiting to be told how much we're earning.
No way.
Anyways, you do the assessment of how much are you paid, right? And there is also a question around some of you have been on the job for a long time and you have been earning a certain amount for say 2 years and 3 years and 4 years. You might want to do an assessment of is there a possibility to get a raise?
Yeah, before
raise?
you even talk about
Yes.
pay raise, you need to also ask yourself, do you have the capacity for a pay raise?
Absolutely.
Obviously, when you're brainstorming on the ways to make money, one of the things you need to think about or talk about is how much do you want to earn as a family? How much income do you want? You have set goals. So for instance, if we say we want to earn £1,000 every week as a family, how much are we earning now, like you said? Then how much is the deficit and how can we get there? You would obviously understand that maybe you don't have the capacity to earn more. So the first place to start is, how do we build the capacity to earn more?
Absolutely.
Before-
That's a good point.
yeah.
Go on.
So once you build a capacity to earn more, that gives you the opportunity to think about, okay, the job I'm doing now, can I stay on this job and get a raise, like you pointed out?
Yeah. Because you also need to look at, in terms of not just the capacity, but also what is the goal? You talked about the goal. So if you're looking at a 10-year or a 5-year goal and saying, we want X amount of money, or we want to have raised X amount of money in 5 years. Now you have to work backwards. So what are you doing now towards achieving that particular goal? So if you want to say, you have a goal of £200,000 in 2 years or £200,000 in 3 years. So realistically, what is your income situation
At the moment.
and at the moment, and how do you think you can work yourself towards that? And if you feel that's not enough, then how can I build capacity in order for me to put myself forward, for example, for a pay raise?
Like I remember a conversation we had the other day, and we were saying, if we keep working in the next 10 years, this is how much we are going to make. For instance, we are on the same pay, and we want to make savings based on the pay that we are on now.
Currently.
We've checked how much we can raise in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years. And we know that, are we going to be financially independent if we stop working in the next 10 years?
Yeah.
So you need to think about long term. The problem is that people don't think long term.
You think now.
Yes. So if you are saving, let's say you work and you earn in dollars. I want to use dollars because that's what most people can use in conversion. You earn $10,000 and you're saving, let's say you're saving $10,000 every year, and you're 50 years old. How much would you have saved? How many years do you have left on that job, and how much would you have saved?
And you don't have the same, you're not going to have the same level of strength that you have now. And that's something you have to also factor in, because the level where you are right now as a couple and the energy that you have, the strength that you have in the next 10 years, is that sustainable? And again, you have to look at the nature of the job. Is that sustainable for me to keep working the type of job? Because some people work really high stress, stress level jobs. So how is it sustainable for you, especially considering the inflation, the rising costs of living, and children? There's so many things that you need to also factor in. Now it's all about, how can I build multiple streams of income? So apart from increasing your income, you might want to think about, what are the ways that we can generate income as a couple? So you look at your skills, you look at your abilities, and is there something that we could possibly monetize, in terms of our skills, in terms of our ability? So, for example, you might be very gifted in speaking, public speaking. Think about ways that you could possibly get another stream of income from that. You might be gifted, maybe in terms of MCing, in terms of being a compare, for example. And you might want to think about how would you do that? How would you increase the income? Or you might be a very good writer, and maybe you have kept that to the back burner for many years. This is an opportunity for you to begin to dust off that skill and begin to write books and begin to publish books. Or you might be a very good a person who is quite, an actor or an actress, or someone who is very big on stage. So you might want to think about, what can I do to put myself out there? So I think it's basically looking inwards and seeing ways and things that you can monetize. Or you might even be a fantastic cook, like I am. And maybe I haven't thought about monetizing it. And I kind of love to cook. I love to entertain because I find it therapeutic. But that could be another stream of income, because in the society where we live in, people are always busy. And you might just be that one person that would cook and people will buy from you. So think about ways that you can monetize something that you love or you have a passion for.
I think the key thing here is do a SWOT analysis of yourself and your spouse to understand your opportunities, your strengths, and the limitation you have within your environment, and see what you can do with what you have. The key point is, if you depend on savings, and you're not making any investment, you will not be financially independent. If you keep on depending on your salary alone, it might be quite difficult for you to be that person who can go on holiday. For instance, if you lose your job today, that's the end of it, because your savings may not be enough to sustain you over the years. That's why you need to have multiple streams of income. And when we talk about multiple streams of income, people think, oh, do I have to start a business? I'm not good at business. What do I know to do? You can actually collaborate with people who are already investing and go into partnership, go into joint venture. There are different ways you can do it. You can become
an angel investor.
If you don't know how to,
then someone can just take the money and utilize the money, put the money into good use.
Definitely. There are so many business opportunities out there. It's just that you're not really open to it and you're not thinking about it. Our key point here is you have to think as a couple how to increase your income. Again, I want to say that if one of you is working and the other person is not working, maybe you're this husband who believes that I should be the man providing for my family. My wife shouldn't work. She should just take care of the home front and all of those. And your wife has been saying to you, I want to put my skills at work. I went to uni. I want to use it. I want to work. Work is not all about any money. There is something about self-fulfillment.
Absolutely.
When you're engaged into doing something productive, please, this is time for you to have a think and support your spouse, so that whatever income she can make or he can make, that would add up to the family income.
And
want to add to that?
I want to add something. Some people are in business and they're like, I have to do this business, and this business is not working, right? Obviously, tell yourself the truth. You nobody can be as real as you are to yourself. You're bleeding money instead of making money. So I think it's not a thing of pride. Just accept and maybe take a job. Try to build your financial threshold and then recalibrate your idea and then go back into business, relaunch big. Because some people they're doing a business and they know that this business is not working, but they just want to be seen to be doing something, and something is not productive. So maybe it's time for you to go get a job and save up a bit of money for you to invest into something.
Definitely. The other point we want to raise is that it's good to make money, fine. You might be making so much wealth, but you need to eliminate unnecessary expenses. That's very key, because no matter how much money you make, there is always something to take that money away from you. There is this Parkinson's law that states that your expense will always rise above your income. So you need to find a way to break that law to ensure that your expense is below your income. Don't because you are now making more money and you have to increase your spending capacity or your spending threshold.
In the bid to do what you've just mentioned, there is a need for the both of you to have a sit-down conversation and try to understand where the money is going. It's really important, and see areas where you can shave up and save a bit of, pennies or whatever it is here and there. I mean, you'll be surprised how much you would be able to save on a monthly basis if you can actually intentionally look at where the money is going. Now, some people have got excessive bills on their phones. So your monthly recharge and maybe those calls, are they quite necessary? And maybe you want to cut down on those. Your data use for those who pay in terms of having their data on their phone. You have to also think about what exactly am I using this for? Is it actually productive, right? Look at your groceries, what you cook. Because a lot of times when we go to our beans is so rich because we're throwing away food, we're wasting food. And thinking about what do you do with your leftovers? Because all of this adds up. Little pennies, they all add up. And it is really, really important that you think about where the money is going. If, for example, for us women, we love to shop, and sometimes every week you want to buy yourself something new, maybe you have to rethink that, right? What exactly do I need? Is this a need or is this a want? It's really important because it will surprise you how much you spend on impulsive buying.
Definitely.
How much goes out just because you're buying on impulse. You're spending on impulse. Oh, I like that. Oh, if I don't buy that, I'm not going to find it next time. There is always this catchphrase that my husband uses, always very popular, and it's kind of a note of warning. It's kind of behind my ears. Every time I want to buy something, you always say to me, good things never end. Good things never cease. So there will always be something, there will be a new version of that good tomorrow. Exactly. So you might want to think about, is it worth me paying for it today? Or maybe you can practice a little bit of what we call delayed gratification.
Definitely.
Okay? Leave it for tomorrow, and maybe for tomorrow it's going to be better and bigger, right, than it is today. So find out the things that are taking away those additional spending that is unnecessary in your relationship, and then try to keep it to what you really need as a family, not what you really want.
Yeah, definitely, because you don't need to live above your means. Sometimes people take loan to,
to
fund their exorbitant lifestyle.
Yeah.
You're not competing with anyone. It's your life. If it's not your time now to drive the latest range, if it's not your time now to go with the, whatever it is that is
trending,
you're craving.
Yeah.
Take your time. You'll get to that point. Don't, because someone else is doing this, then you have to do it. And don't pressure your spouse. This family, they are always on holiday, Bahamas, wherever it is, and now you want to go on holiday, the same destination. You don't know their income. You don't know how they've managed to get to where they are. When you get to that point, it will become a natural thing for you. Don't put yourself under undue pressure because you want to please the Joneses, who are not even interested in what you're showcasing.
One of the ways to eliminate unnecessary expenses is for you both to sit together and draw up a budget. Have a family budget where what are our incomes, what are our outgoings, and you try to put them on paper, because it's really important. This is going to give you like a vision of where your money is going, right? And it's also going to sort of help to discipline you, because you know that these are the things that you have to spend money on. And it would amaze you guys to know how many homes, how many couples are out there spending their money without having a budget. It's like you just going out there without a map, without a roadmap of what exactly you want to do in terms of your finances. And I think it's just you setting up yourself to fail. And let me just say that, money has been given to us. It's a resource, and we need to be accountable for what resource we've been given. Right? We don't have to waste it. We don't have to waste resources, So if money has been given to you, right, to manage, then are you a worthy custodian? Are you accountable for the money that you have? So as a couple, it's not his money or my money. It's our money, and it is important that I am accountable to him for what money and how I spend my money, even though it's my money, right? It's important that we have this conversation.
Even though it's our money.
Though it's our money, it's important that what I'm saying is my money is that I am making, it's my income, right? But it's important that we hold ourselves accountable. And maybe this is one way we can actually budget effectively.
Adding to what you said about accountability, the thing is that once you have a budget, it doesn't really matter who is in charge of, expending the money or meeting your financial plans. For instance, if you say that you want to spend YZ amount of money on this specific thing, the woman can do the spending, the man can do the spending, as long as you all stay on your budgets. It doesn't mean you become so frugal to the point that you punish yourself because you don't want to spend. There is also a room in your budget where you could say, okay, this is miscellaneous, this is money for you to do whatever you want to spend on, which is good. So accountability is important. The reason people keep hiding about their income is because they are not working together.
Yeah.
And the budget is someone doing his own budget without involving the whole family.
Yeah.
So it's key that we have a family budget.
I think a budget helps in having that focal point and minimizing conflict.
Definitely.
Especially when you have a budget helps for financial agreements. Let me say that it helps for financial agreement because everyone knows what to expect, in terms of spending, in terms of income, and people, we both are focused on that. And it is also very important because if we can incorporate our children in it, they understand and not try to ask for things that
that are not necessary.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because they understand the importance of having a budget, and that is how we pass on the baton in terms of teaching them a financial intelligence, in terms of having a budget and making sure that they also begin to have their own little budget, even though their money or their pocket money is still very little.
Yeah, to add to that, I want to also say that sometimes it doesn't work because one spouse has decided to be the one that spends everything, or to be irresponsible when it comes to money. And that's why sometimes you see people keep the money, they don't want to be open about it. So if that's your case, what it means is that your relationship needs help.
Yeah.
You need to meet someone that would help both of you to resolve issues around finance. But what we are saying here is, in an ideal situation where everyone understands that this marriage is working together, we are working together as a family, the budgeting thing is really, really important. Another thing I want to say is that you might have your budget and do all of those. You need to find a way to eliminate debt. Eliminating debt is another way of freeing up your income or increasing your earning capacity, because no matter how much you make, if you have things that keep constantly taking away from your income, then it's not going to be a positive outcome at the end of the day. For instance, if you have credit cards, we live in a society where people have access to credit cards, and if you don't apply delayed gratification, like you said, you might accumulate so much debt that the interest on your debt can even be enough to pay someone monthly salary.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's really, really important. And let me say that debt is something that both of you need to discuss. Some people come into the relationship with a lot of debt, right? And something that we speak to our singles a lot about, having to have these conversations about money. How much are you worth? Are you on a deficit? If you're, it's really important. You need to ask that question. Are you on a deficit financially? What is your financial situation, right? Because you find a lot of people come into a relationship with a lot of debts, and only to be surprised, especially for people who have been very, studious in keeping their financial situation all intact. Now, it is important that you find yourself at this point. The question is, how can we walk through this together, right? So you have a lot of credit cards, and some people are very drawn towards taking credit cards. I say, look, you're taking credit card, you should have a reason for doing that, right? And make sure that you have a plan on how to pay that off. So you don't take your credit card to take credit to fund your what's it called now? Your luxuries or your travel. I know some people do that, guys. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. But the question here is, how are you going to pay back? How are you going to fund that? Some people are fond of borrowing from friends, borrowing from family. It's great. But usually when you talk about borrowing, you should have a short-term mentality towards it. So this is for the short term. And this is by when I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to take care of this debt. So it's really, really important that you do that, because if you have a lot of debt, you can never be financially free.
And then talking about borrowing, I thought about this. Some people also borrow from loan sharks.
Oh, yeah.
People who give loan for exorbitant interest rates.
Yeah.
And they don't mind getting that money from you by all means. You don't want to get into that, because that's a sure way of hemorrhaging financially. In fact, you would not only hemorrhage financially, it's going to impact on your credibility as a person.
And even your health.
Yes, I've heard cases of people who, took their lives because they couldn't pay off the debts they owe. So please be careful about that. Be careful about the business you invest in as well. There are Ponzi schemes all over the place. Be careful where you invest your money. Let there be an agreement between you and your spouse before you make some key financial decisions.
Yeah, we're not a financial expert as such, but if you really want to talk to a financial expert, please do, right? And do your due diligence as well. So don't depend on somebody to give you all the details. Do some research about the organization or about whatever it is you want to invest in. Find out, what has been their history, what has been their trajectory. Get some testimonials from people before you consider, investing there. I just thought to put that out there.
That's very important. And finally, want to say that issues around money can become a conflict point in any relationship if not managed positively or properly. So the last thing we want to say to you is, if you found yourself in a financial quagmire, I would say, in a a crossroad where you're so confused, frustrated, always arguing about money, issues here and there, such that if someone gives you huge amount of money now, you will think your life is going to be better, you and your spouse will be happy again. We understand all of those. We understand that the global inflation is hitting hard on so many couples, so many families. You're not alone in this. There are so many issues around finance. Some people have jobs that can't even pay their basic bills. It's not like you're extravagant. It's just that life is becoming tough when it comes to finance. We want to say to you, stay positive. Don't let issues around money destroy the relationship you've built over the years. These two will pass. You just have to work together. You just have to be intentional about how to navigate this situation, the financial issues in your relationship.
I want to add that, look, your relationship is more important than any challenge at all, be it financial or otherwise. And you can always walk through this. You guys are built to last. You can always walk through this. And maybe we've shared a couple here and you're thinking, oh, they didn't touch on that or they didn't touch on that. I mean, we cannot exhaust everything in one video, and please feel free to let us know on the chat what do you think. Are there other ways? Because we also want to learn, right? We want to learn. We want to also increase our income and become independently, financially independent. So please let us know on the chat if there are other ways that we can do this. And I want to say a big thank you to those who have actually watched this video to the end. And if you forgot to subscribe whilst watching this video, please do that now. And to all our returning subscribers, it's always a joy to have you. Until the next episode, it's goodbye.